Did you know that your body actually talks to you?
Perfect. Okay, here we go.
What happens when we begin to realize that the 200-year experiment we've called the American healthcare system has failed? Tune in to Awakened Wellness with Mylaine Riobe, MD, and join the conversation about how to heal our broken system to reverse our current health crisis. The entire world is looking for answers, and the truth is hidden in plain sight. Learn how spirituality, ancient traditions, and cutting-edge science are merging to create a new paradigm of wellness every Wednesday at 12 a.m. and 12 p.m. Eastern Time, with live video shows every first and third Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, when you can call in and ask the questions that matter most to you.
And we're live, Doctor.
Thank you, Rachel. Good afternoon, and welcome to Awakened Wellness with Dr. Mylaine Riobe. I'm your host, and today we are discussing, did you know that your body actually talks to you all the time? So we're live here today on Dream Vision 7 Radio. I'm Dr. Mylaine Riobe. I'm the medical director of the Riobe Institute of Integrative Medicine here in Jupiter, Florida. And I'm also the founder of Awakened Wellness Now. Our number here today is area code 646-558-8656. And I'm looking forward to your questions and comments today because this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I learned it based on Eastern medicine or Chinese medicine. What I learned now 18, 19 years ago is that our body is actually always talking to us. And what we decode or interpret as symptoms is actually our body speaking to us or talking to us or communicating to us. And the reason it does that is because it needs help, right? Our body, I always say this, our body is a miraculous machine. It is a self-healing machine. And it's always in the background fixing itself. And it's always communicating with the environment, back and forth, sending signals to the environment because it anticipates that the environment will help it to heal. Chinese medicine very clearly understands that we are part of our environment. This is kind of a sticking point with our regular medicine here in the West. We have this idea that our skin is a barrier and that we are separated from the environment. And that's simply not true, right? If we were separated from our environment, we wouldn't get infections. If we were separated from our environment, we would not get heavy metals and toxins from the environment into our bodies, right? So we are not separated from the environment. Our skin, is somewhat of a barrier, but it does not separate us from the environment. And Chinese medicine understands this very, very clearly. In fact, Chinese medicine is based on this very premise. And so when we begin to understand that there's this constant back and forth between us and the environment, we can begin to understand why Chinese medicine is actually so powerful. Because if you do not respect that you are part of the environment will do you in, right? We're seeing that, of course, now with all the toxins that we have in the atmosphere, the infections that we're becoming increasingly susceptible to. We have to respect that we are part of the environment and that we can't just separate ourselves. And part of the way that our body heals itself is through this communication. And if your body can fix itself without having to send you a signal, then it will. And if it can't fix itself, it will send you a signal. We interpret those signals as our symptoms. So fatigue in particular is an extremely common symptom that people have. In fact, it's kind of become the basis of my practice in many ways, right? And no matter what someone comes into my practice with, the way that I help them feel better is through improving the symptom of fatigue. Why? Because fatigue is your body's main way of communicating to you what it needs. And so when we begin to understand that there's this language and this communication, this back and forth between us and our bodies, we can really begin to not only feel better, but also prevent diseases, prevent ourselves from becoming sick. And that's the topic of today's conversation. A lot of people think symptoms are just this random nuisance, that the body is hitting them with. This kind of malfunction of the body, so to speak. But symptoms are not malfunctions. They are very calculated communications that your body is sending you because it can't fix itself, right? If your body can fix itself, it won't bother you, right? It won't send you a signal, it won't send you the memo. But if it's stuck somewhere, it will send you a memo. And it'll keep sending memos louder and louder and louder and louder until you listen to it, right? And so this is how we go from feeling just a little bit tired to feeling exhausted to actually getting sick with a diagnosable disease, is when we don't listen to this language that our body is sending us. I teach my clients, like, don't ignore any symptoms, right? That doesn't mean become paranoid. It doesn't mean start freaking out over every little thing. What it means is to become self-aware. So if you find that you're feeling tired more often than you should, then your body is telling you, hey, I need more energy. Please provide me with more energy. And there's this language that the body speaks. And the most important information it sends you is how much energy you have. So if you're waking up tired, or if you're tired later in the day, if you have to take a nap later in the day, or if you get tired with activity, for example, your body's actually telling you something very, very important. And once you understand what those things mean, you can then intervene, right? You can start to interpret and talk to your body by doing something, right? So when your body is telling you it's tired in the mid-afternoon, you have to ask yourself a few questions, right? Like, what did I do this morning? Did I get enough sleep last night, right? If the answer is no, I didn't get enough sleep last night, I went to bed at 1 and I had to get up at 7, then your body is sending you this tired signal because it wants you to get more sleep, right? So it wants you to do something to help it to heal itself, because your body understands that fatigue is a dangerous thing. We often think that fatigue is just normal because everybody's tired, right? Everybody we ask, they're like, oh yeah, I'm exhausted. Oh yeah, I can barely get through my day. Oh yeah, I get up so tired. And so we start to normalize fatigue, but fatigue is a very serious symptom. Now, again, it doesn't mean that you should freak out, and become paranoid and stressed out because you're tired, but it does mean that you need to become perhaps a little bit more self-aware and start to ask yourself, what does this fatigue actually mean? And Eastern medicine has a very, sophisticated way of analyzing what we would call symptoms. And there are a series of other signs that your body sends you along with you feeling tired that help you to kind of nail down not only why you're tired, but how to fix the fatigue. The reason fatigue is so critical is because it is an expression of energy. And energy is everything, right? Energy is the be all and end all of how you function in the world, right? Everything we do, from thinking a thought, moving a little finger, to reproducing or digesting our food, moving around in the world, our detoxification systems, our immune system that defends us against infection and cancer, hearing, speaking, seeing, smelling, All of those functions rely on energy. And without that energy, we can't do anything. Without that energy, we wouldn't be able to even like move a pinky finger, right? And so it's the way that your body can make and use its energy that dictates whether you're healthy or sick. And the main symptom you're going to have to tell you that is the expression of your energy. So if you wake up great and you're great all day and you have no fatigue, chances are you're quite healthy. As long as you're not hyper energetic, right? Everything is about balance. So you don't want to be hyper energetic because that means something too, right? That means that you're probably too acidic, right? It means that there's a lot of heat in the body. When something is overactive, it usually means that there is heat. Something is too hot. And so it's too agitated. There's too much movement. And so what that means is there's an imbalance of too much energy. So you don't want too little energy. You don't want too much energy. You want that sweet spot. So you want to have this calm, grounded energy, So yes, I can get up feeling really good in the morning. I can get all of the things done that I want to do that day. I can participate with, my friends, my partner, my family. I can, do my work, my calling. I can participate with my community. And then later in the day, I'll get the signal that it's time to go to sleep when it's actually time to go to sleep. And then I'll go to sleep, right? So that's normal energy. When you're tired, either too much, I can't quite get through my day, or I need to drink a bunch of coffee or energy drinks, or I need to take a nap to get through, that's your body telling you something. And you should really pay a lot of attention. Again, not in a panicked way, but definitely start becoming self-aware. What is it that I'm doing that might be going against my body being able to make and use energy? So how does your body make energy, right? It comes from the food that you eat and the oxygen that you breathe in with every breath. And so, of course, nutrition's huge and breathing is huge. And those two things come together and create energy inside your body. Now, your body has to then distribute that energy, right? So in order for you to move your pinky finger, your body has to send energy from your gut and your lungs to your pinky finger and to the cells, the millions of cells that are in this finger that will be responsible for its movement, right? So there are muscle cells in here, bone cells in here, hair follicle cells in here that need to have energy for you to even just do this, right? Millions of chemical reactions going on just to do this. And so your body has to constantly be distributing energy to the systems that need the energy. And when it's not able to do that, this becomes a little harder, right? Maybe you have like an ache or a pain in here every time you try and move it. Maybe it's stiff. Maybe there's a little bit of numbness in here, and that's telling you something. That's telling you that your body is incapable of distributing blood and oxygen to this little pinky finger or anywhere else, right? It can be in your heart, and that's how we have heart attacks. It can be in your brain, and that's how we develop dementia. Or have strokes. It can be in any joint or part of the musculoskeletal system, and that's how we can develop osteoporosis or brittle bones, or how we develop arthritis. Autoimmune diseases occur when the immune cells are not able to get enough energy. And so the systems that are responsible for getting energy into your body need to be functioning. And so your body is going to constantly talk to you, and so if your vision is deteriorating, right, that's your body talking to you. It's telling you, hey, I can't get enough blood and oxygen and nutrients into my eyes. And so vision is deteriorating. Can you please do something about that, right? And so then the question becomes, well, what do I do about that, right? And it depends on what else is going on, right? And again, if you're not getting enough sleep, it means you need to sleep more. If you're not going to sleep at the right times, It means you need to reshuffle your day so that you get to go to sleep at the right time, so that your eyes and the rest of you actually get the energy that they need. If you feel cold all the time, right? We talk about the temperature of your body, right? If you have chills and you feel cold, and you're the one with the sweater on when no one else has a sweater on, that tells you that your body is too cold. When your body's too cold, your blood vessels get constricted. And what we mean by constricted is they get smaller. So your blood vessels can open and close depending on what your body needs to do. If your body needs to get more blood flow somewhere, it will want to open the blood vessels leading to that place. But if you're too cold, it won't be able to open the blood vessels because coldness shrinks your blood vessels. And so if your little pinky finger is numb, not feeling too good, and you feel cold all the time, that's because your body can't send blood and oxygen to that area because you're too cold and it's constricting blood flow. Right. And so that tells you that you need to eat warmer foods, right? Maybe you need spicier foods. Maybe everything needs to be cooked for some time so that you can open up those blood vessels. So these are some of the really critical things that we just need to know for ourselves. And you don't have to be a doctor to know this stuff, right? This is stuff that people should just know for themselves. And unfortunately, in school, we don't learn about it, right? When we go through grade school and we learn about science and we learn about health, we're not taught the very basic things that we need to know to be healthy. And so when we run into trouble, we don't know what to do, right? These are basic things that we should just know, and so that's part of the reason I'm starting this online course, the Wellness Warrior 9-week transformation program, is because I firmly believe that we are in charge of preventing our own diseases. Yes, we go to the doctor, and as a doctor, I doctor myself a lot, but nonetheless, yes, we need to go to the doctor. We need to have our screening exams. We need to have tests done so we can diagnose diseases. But as physicians, as regular doctors, we do not prevent those diseases, right? That's up to the homework that we have to do for ourselves at home. How we eat, how we rest, how we move, right? How we detox and cleanse the body. If you have a bunch of junk in the body from toxins, then blood flow can't get to your pinky finger because there's a bunch of junk in the way, or there's a lot of inflammation in the way, right? How do you know that? You know that when you move more, you feel better, right? So there are just these basic things that once you begin to understand what your symptoms mean, I'm tired if I sit still, but I feel better if I move around. That's telling you something really important. That's telling you that you have a load of toxins and inflammation in the body, that when you move, it moves, right? And it clears a path. And that improves blood flow. And so there are certain things that, based on that symptom, based on how your body is talking to you, I feel tired unless you keep moving. If you keep moving, I feel better, right? That's what your body's telling you. So that's telling you, hey, there's a load of toxins in the body. There's a bunch of inflammation in the body. I need to get rid of that, right? Now you can confirm that with testing, right? But you can know that also just based on how your body's talking to you, the language of your body. And so there's a way that you can change what you're eating. There's a way that you can start eliminating toxins from your home, from your work environment. There's a way that you can improve circulation through how you exercise, how you breathe. Everything you do in your life can then start to move you towards reducing inflammation, getting rid of those toxins, so that you don't feel tired all the time and you don't have to keep moving to keep your circulation flowing. Now, moving is good, right? We're supposed to move, but when it becomes significant enough that your body actually sends you a signal of fatigue if you're not moving, and you only feel better when you move, that's a problem, right? That's a sign of an imbalance. You should be able to sit still and still have good energy. And of course, we want to move, we want to exercise, and do all the things that we need to do to live a healthy lifestyle, but your body shouldn't be forcing you to move to feel better. That's a sign of an imbalance. And again, we teach all that in our course. I'm really excited about this course because I really believe that our system of medicine is not designed to prevent diseases, right? It's designed to diagnose them and treat them. So we need it for that. But it's up to us at home. It's up to us to do the homework of, I got to figure out what's right for my body to eat and what's not right for my body to eat. I got to figure out what type of exercise is good for me and what type of exercise might not suit me. I got to figure out, what type of nutrition is going to suit me. So sometimes it's warm food, sometimes it's raw food, sometimes it's alkaline food, sometimes it's spicy food. Some people need to eat more red meat because they're blood deficient and cold, right? Some people need to eliminate red meat because they're too acidic. And so all these things are things that you can learn for yourself, learn how to figure these things out so that you can do your homework, right? And be healthy. There are ways that you can help your body to cleanse itself better by removing toxins from your home, but also by providing your body with what it needs to perform those detoxification reactions for itself. Now, again, it's always best to be in the care of an integrative medical doctor so that you can catch things if they've gone too far, right? Catch diseases, catch conditions that require more aggressive treatment. But 90% of the work is yours to do at home, right? And so that's what this course is about. It's to really get you to understand that there's this language that your body speaks to you all the time, that if you can begin to understand it, interpret it, and respond to it, and there's this two-way communication between you and your body, you will avoid a lot of pitfalls of disease and you will feel much, much better. And you'll be much more equipped to take on, the world and to live your best life. So you're listening to Dream Vision 7 Radio. This is Awakened Wellness. I'm your host, Dr. Mylaine Riobe. When we come back from this first commercial break, I hear my phone pinging with questions. So we'll address some questions on the way back. Thank you. We'll be right back.
What happens when we begin to realize that the 200-year experiment we've called the American healthcare system has failed? Learn how spirituality, ancient traditions, and cutting-edge science are merging to create a new paradigm of wellness on Awakened Wellness with Mylaine Riobe, MD. Tune in every Wednesday at 12 a.m. and 12 p.m. Eastern Time with live video shows every first and third Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, when you can call in and ask Dr. Mylaine the questions that matter most to you. Dr. Mylaine is the medical director of the Riobe Institute of Integrative Medicine in Jupiter, Florida. For more information, visit RIOBE integrativemedicine.com. Dream Vision 7 Radio Network invites you in for this dynamic, forward-thinking show.
Join Dr. Bernie Siegel on Mind Health Matters every Thursday and Friday, 12 a.m. and 12 p.m. Eastern Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. Bernie will draw from his inspirational personal journey, offering us special nuggets of his sacred wisdom weaved through his delightful stories. Listen in as Bernie reminds us to be fully engaged in life.
Ever wonder what it's like to have your own radio show? Well, wonder no longer, because you can dip into the radio airwaves by being host for the day on syndicated Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. It's a fabulous way to get your radio feet wet. It's an opportunity to market your business, modality, or book. Have a guest, mention a sponsor, and take callers. Or you may want to facilitate a lesson by going solo. It's up to you. Listeners can be online, mobile, in cars with Bluetooth, or listen through Amazon's Echo by asking, Alexa, play Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. For more details, go to dreamvision7radio.com and click on Host for the Day.
Looking for a fun and relaxing getaway? Omega Rest and Rejuvenation Retreats are a great way to unwind and renew your spirit. Sit and read in the garden, explore the woodland trails, or try a daily yoga or meditation class. You can stretch your body, quiet your mind, and do as much or as little as you choose. Located in Rhinebeck, New York, just 90 miles north of New York City, Omega's natural environment and quiet pace allow for extraordinary experiences to unfold. Learn more at eomega.org.
Delight your kids with an enchanting journey by reading the Paper Doll Kids children's book by Deborah Beauvais and Janine Sullivan. There's even a catchy tune, Kids for Love Song, produced by Bob Sherwood and sung by kids just like yours. The story weaves around 7 paper dolls flying around the world doing good deeds as they bring important attention to our endangered animal friends. There's even a magical ring with a universal message. Kids become interested in service projects, action through compassion, and planting seeds that nurture positive change. The Paper Doll Kids and Kids for Love Song are a production of the Kids for Love Project. Get the book now on Amazon Kindle and the song on CD Baby or iTunes.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
And we're back.
Thank you, Rachel. Hello again. You're listening to Awaken Wellness. I'm your host, Dr. Mylaine Riobe. And today's topic is, did you know that your body actually talks to you all the time? And so we did have some questions come in and some comments. First one's a statement. My man's body speaks loudly to me, but he apparently doesn't hear it. He obviously has belly issues. So yeah, flatulence is definitely a way that your body talks to you, right? And even if it's foul smelling or not, is actually your body talking to you, believe it or not. And so foul smelling flatulence is a sign of heat or acidity. And what we would call normal smelling flatulence is a sign of the absence of acidity. Could also be a sign of coldness, right? So if that flatulence comes with loose stools or constipation, right? So the loose stools, if they are foul smelling, that definitely tells you that there's a lot of acidity in the body. If there is undigested food in the stool, that's usually a sign that you're retaining too much water and that there's coldness in the body, right? So your body doesn't digest food properly if it's too cold. And so what you'll see is undigested bits and pieces of food in your stool as a sign of being cold. And again, if you feel cold and if your body temperature is actually below 98.6, then that's definitely telling you that you're too cold. And so what you do in that case is you warm up your diet, right? You eat warmer foods. If it's foul smelling, then you need to be on an alkaline diet, right? So these are the ways your body actually talks to you. So every little thing is telling you something. So you might want to pass that on to the gentleman. Question, your comment on our skin not separating us from our environment. I suffer from contact dermatitis. Any suggestions to help defend myself and my skin? Yeah. So contact dermatitis means that you're reacting to something in your environment, right? So sometimes it's lotions or even food that we ingest, right? And so that's a sign that there's a couple things, right? Number one, you want to go to a dermatologist, make sure you have a diagnosis, right? So we don't want to be freewheeling it at home, self-diagnosing. That's not what the purpose of the course is. The purpose of the course is, what do I do after I've had my screening exam and my tests and, I'm still not quite there? The answer to that is I got to do my homework. I have to really figure out, what is my body telling me that tests and other things can't answer? What is my body actually telling me when it sends me the signal of what my biopsy, for example, or my examination is telling me is contact dermatitis, right? And so your skin is a defense right? And so if there's a rash, if there is itching, if there's anything like that, what that's telling you is that your skin cells are not getting enough energy to perform their functions, right? So our skin is the largest detoxification organ that we have in the body. And so again, because there's really no barrier between us and the environment, your skin has to decide what it's going to let in and not let in. And sometimes it can do that and sometimes it can't, right? So, the pandemic of the last several years showed us that our skin is not helping defend us against viral infections, right? And that's because the cells that would be responsible for that defense are not getting enough energy. And that might be for a couple of reasons, right? So when you're not getting enough energy somewhere, it's either because you're not making enough energy to send there or something's blocking it from getting there, right? So if it's too much toxins, then again, you'll know that based on other symptoms, right? You'll know, okay, so my problem is that if I sit still, I'm too tired and I have to move all the time. So that's telling me that there's something obstructing the flow to my skin. So in other words, you're being hit with something that is overwhelming your body. And so you'll want to find out, well, what is that, right? So if you're using a lot of lotions and cleaning products at home, you'll want to kind of take a look at, how do I clean this up? How do I get rid of these things that may not be beneficial to my body and bring things that might be beneficial? So that's where you start looking at more eco-friendly products. That's where you start getting rid of non-organic makeup, getting rid of non-organic soaps and cleaning products and things like that. And also, again, the other symptoms that we look at, right? If you're tired all the time and it doesn't help to move around, right? Or if you're not getting enough sleep, that's going to tell you that you're not making enough energy to get, to your skin. And you can also be tested, right? So again, being with an integrative physician, you can be tested for up to 33 vitamins and minerals. And a lot of times what it is, it's just vitamin and mineral deficiencies because you're not getting enough energy. And so correcting the vitamin and mineral deficiencies should correct the contact dermatitis, unless it's an outright allergy. If it's an outright allergy, you'll need to be tested and find out what you're allergic to and make sure you don't expose yourself to that. So I hope that answered that question for you. Question, is it my imagination? Seems my body aches a lot when my blood sugar must be high, like after a great meal at my favorite Italian place. I feel achy that night, makes it hard to fall asleep. Or the same thing if I grab a donut or two from a drive-through on my way to work in the morning. Am I crazy? No, you're not crazy. So body aches, again, it's kind of the same questions, right? If your body aches after you do something, like after you eat something, you have to ask yourself a couple of questions. Does it feel better if I move around? Or does it not feel better if I move around, right? So if after you work out, you feel better, that's telling you that you're putting something into your body that it can't tolerate. That's causing inflammation. And so Italian food probably has wheat products in it, probably has a little bit of dairy. Again, if you feel cold all the time, if you're that person with the sweater on when nobody else has one on, gluten and dairy make you colder. So if you're already cold and you're eating something that makes you colder, your joints and your muscles will not get enough energy because the coldness, remember, is going to shrink down your blood vessels. And that's going to provide less blood and oxygen to your musculoskeletal system. And that's going to cause pain. And so there's a whole series of questions you want to ask yourself, but they're generally the same questions. If you've noticed the pattern, right? No matter what you have, it's generally the same questions. And then once you begin to really understand that, you can then learn to change what you're giving your body, right? So, you'll probably want to eliminate dairy, eliminate wheat products, and see if that helps you. The other thing, donuts, again, a lot of time it's wheat. It's not necessarily the sugar, although it can be the sugar. If you're eating too much sugar, then yes, that's going to cause a problem because sugar is inflammatory as well. But that's what this sounds like to me. So I hope that answered your question there. Oh my God, this energy concept is blowing my mind. I never thought of energy being sent to move my finger. Yeah, there's nothing that you do that does not require energy production by your body in the form of converting the food you eat and the oxygen you breathe into that energy. And then everything that you do requires that energy. And your body, again, is miraculous. It's constantly figuring out where to send energy so that you can just do this, right? And so when the systems that are responsible for making and using your energy are not functioning properly, doing this becomes a little harder, or other things become harder, right? So as one of our callers mentioned, contact dermatitis, right? That's your body talking to you, letting you know, hey, I can't get rid of these toxins that are in me because I don't have enough energy here. So please fix that, right? And so we can fix it by looking at nutrition, by looking at rest, by looking at movement, by looking at detoxification. Those are the 4 pillars of your health. That's what determines how your body makes and uses its energy. And the more solid those 4 pillars are, the healthier you are. And so there's a way that you can just zone in on those 4 things and ask yourself very specific questions. And then you can kind of nail down the type of nutrition that's good for you and the type of nutrition that might be harming you. You can nail down what type of activities and exercises benefit you. So as an example, if you're tired and you feel worse when you exercise, then that's telling you that you need to be restorative. What does restorative mean? It means you need to slow down to allow the body to make enough energy so that you can do the things that you need to do. It also means that you need to make sure that you're eating adequately so that you pump more energy into the body. It also means you need to really pay attention to how you breathe, because the more oxygen you bring into your body, the more it can be converted to energy through your food. And so things like heart math and meditation are really important. And when you take a nice, slow, deep breath, you're actually getting more oxygen into your body than when you take a bunch of shallow breaths. And that has to do with the fact that your lungs are triangular in a way, right? If you look at a picture of the lungs, they get bigger as they get down to the bottom. And so that means that there's more surface area. When there's more surface area, that means more oxygen can get in down at the bottom of your lung than at the top of your lung. So when you take a shallow breath, you're only bringing energy, oxygen to the top parts of your lungs, and you're not getting as much oxygen into the body. When you take a nice, slow, deep breath, you're driving oxygen down to the bottom of your lungs where there's a lot more surface area. More surface area means you're going to get a lot more oxygen to get through the lungs into the body. And so with heart math, you're only breathing 6 times a minute, but you're getting a lot more oxygen into your body than if you're breathing 16 times a minute in a very shallow way. And so when you need to be restorative, and you need to be restorative, you're the one that says, I'm really tired if I move around. I can't work out because I'm too tired when I work out. That's who needs to be restorative. And then that tells you all you need to know about the nutrition you need to eat, how much activity is good for you, and what type of activity. So people who need to be restorative don't want to go do high intensity interval training, right? They're going to injure themselves, wear themselves out, and get sicker. The people that need to be restorative want to do things like yin yoga, tai chi, qigong, things where you're moving, but it's very slow and rhythmic. and it's almost meditative, right? Meditation drives energy into the body. So you're not putting out a lot of energy, you're actually taking in a lot of energy. When you ground yourself, you're taking in energy from the planet. When you go out in the sun at dawn and dusk, you're getting energy from the sun. That's called restorative. You're bringing energy into the body as opposed to expending energy. So when you go do high intensity, interval training, you're expending energy. When you're doing, a lot of cardio, you're expending, you're I don't want to say wasting energy, but you are putting energy out. You're going through energy as opposed to getting energy. And so how you exercise really matters, right? So if you're someone who is deficient, I'm tired when I exercise, I can't exercise because I'm too tired, or I can't sleep properly, and so I wake up tired. You want to be very restorative with your activities. And so you're the one that needs to do Qigong, Yin Yoga, very slow and rhythmic. The person that says, I feel better when I exercise, if I sit still, I fall asleep, then yes, you're the one that wants to be doing the high intensity interval training and the cardio and other things. And so that's your body talking to you to tell you exactly what form of exercise would benefit it, right? And so these are the ways that your body talks to you. There's no symptom or sign that you get that's not a communication from your body. Once you begin to understand the basics of what that means, you can really take control of your health and feel much, much better and avoid the pitfalls of disease. And again, I just want to be clear, that doesn't mean that you don't go to the doctor. You absolutely go to the doctor. So that they can evaluate that symptom, make sure there's not a serious underlying cause of that symptom that needs to be treated, right? And then from there, you want to really do what I call your homework, and know exactly how to get the 4 pillars of your health up and running so that you can correct those symptoms at home. So I think we have some more questions, but we probably need a commercial first. So we got a ton of questions. I'll try and get to them after this next commercial break. You're listening to Awakened Wellness. I'm your host, Dr. Mylaine Riobe, and we will be right back.
What happens when we begin to realize that the 200-year experiment we've called the American healthcare system has failed? Learn how spirituality, ancient traditions, and cutting-edge science are merging to create a new paradigm of wellness on Awakened Wellness with Mylaine Riobe, MD. Tune in every Wednesday at 12 a.m. and 12 p.m. Eastern Time with live video shows every first and third Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, when you can call in and ask Dr. Mylaine the questions that matter most to you. Dr. Mylaine is the medical director of the Riobe Institute of Integrative Medicine in Jupiter, Florida. For more information, visit RIOBE-integrativemedicine.com. Dream Vision 7 Radio Network invites you in for this dynamic, forward-thinking show.
EDECIA is a U.S. nonprofit dedicated to the dream of ending childhood malnutrition for millions of children around the world through the manufacture of Plumpy Nut and other nutrient-rich, peanut-based, ready-to-use foods. EDECIA has already delivered life and hope to nearly 1 million children in over 26 developing countries. To find out how you can join EDECIA's dream of ending childhood malnutrition, please visit edeciaglobal.org.
What if dreams can diagnose your life? What if we can meet the love of our life in dreams? Join host Kat O'Keefe Canavas, the #1 internationally best-selling author of Dreams That Can Save Your Life, written with Duke University medical doctor Larry Burke. Dreaming Healing is where we'll explore dreams, research, and interpret dreams from you, the caller. Dreaming Healing shows can be heard every Tuesday at 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. Eastern, with live shows on the first and third evenings at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific Time on syndicated Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. Come live your dreams out loud with Kat.
Are you searching for a way to help create global change? Dream Vision 7 Radio Network's vision is to have an eclectic group of radio hosts dedicated to educating, enlightening, and helping humankind with positive messages and tools that enhance lives using different modalities and programs. If you would like to join our team and help illuminate the universe, call Deborah at 508-226-1723 or Deborah at dreamvision7radio.com.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe, relax, and enjoy. Let life flow.
I would say we got so many questions coming in. Obviously, this is a very popular show. You practically your whole show just answering all those things. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, we're live. We're back. I'm enjoying
it. All right. Thanks, Rachel. Yeah, this is great. I love questions. Really helps. I think it helps people to see how everything comes back to the same questions, right? So whether you're dealing with contact dermatitis or aches and pains or whatever it is, fatigue is always in there somewhere, right? And if you can learn, like, how do I figure out what my body is telling me through this symptom of fatigue, there's so much you can do to fix the other things, because once your body has enough energy, it will fix itself. Like, you don't have to necessarily go and fix the contact dermatitis per se. You just have to relate the contact dermatitis to the fatigue symptom and see what the fatigue is telling you. And then by fixing the fatigue through the same, questions, the contact dermatitis will just start to get better on its own, because you don't have to drill down into those nitty-gritty details. Your body knows what to do. Your body simply needs the energy to do it. So if you can understand what fatigue means and what to do about it, once you put that stuff in your body, or you clean up the environment, whatever your body is asking you to do through the language that it's speaking to you, it will then fix itself, right? And that's what's so incredible about the human body, is it's self-healing. The problem is we're so inundated with toxins and stress and things that the body was not designed, to have to deal with all the time. So your body is designed to deal with toxins, but not when it's exposed to it over and over, year after year. Your body is designed to deal with stress, but not on an ongoing basis, right? It's when the body is taken out of balance that it cannot respond. And so it will send you symptoms. It will send you, the message that it's tired. And it will send you a very specific message. I'm tired after you eat. I'm tired after you exercise. Or, I'm tired unless you exercise, right? So your body is telling you things constantly. I'm too hot. I'm too cold. I feel better when you move. And if you feel better when you move, that's because there's inflammation and poor circulation. So there's a whole thing to do about that, right? And so it doesn't matter what you're dealing with. You have to just look at the fatigue symptom specifically and become self-aware of what your body is telling you about your energy. And then once you know how to get that situated, the other stuff just falls in line. So let's see if I can answer some of these questions. I saw a few lawyer commercials lately saying if you took Tylenol during pregnancy and your child has autism or ADHD, to, I guess I'm assuming, call them. Is there any truth in the connection with pain medication? So there's never one thing that causes a condition, right? It's always a bunch of things doing their small part that eventually, drives you off the cliff, or it's that last feather that falls on the pile that collapses the whole thing. When you look at autism and ADHD, and we've done some podcasts in the past on this topic, it's a bunch of things. It's not just one thing. The broad category is toxins, right? Autism is not genetic. ADHD is not genetic. It appears to be genetic, but it's not genetic. It appears to be genetic because the toxins alter the genes. And so we're so focused on the genes that we're not looking at the toxins, and we assume it's genes. It just appears to be genetic because that's just where we're looking. If we were to look at the toxins, we would find that they are the ones causing the damage to the genes that then leads us to think that autism or ADHD is genetic, but it's not. And so the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology has been screaming and yelling about toxins at least for a decade now or more. There are very, very clear studies linking autism to toxins in our environment. Things like arsenic, mercury, household products, things that are in your child's toys, the plastics, the phthalates, and all the things that are in glue. They're in children's toys. They're in the furniture in your home, etc. All of these things play their part in causing diseases like autism or anything else. So if you look at any one thing, you won't be able to link that one thing to a disease. But if you look at the category of all the things, and each one gives you a little bit of an increased risk. So for example, like cancer, an X-ray increases your risk of cancer, say by 1 or 2%. Pesticides increase your risk of cancer by 2 or 3%, right? So if you point your finger at one thing and you say you're causing cancer, you won't find the evidence that that one thing is causing cancer because it only increases the risk by 3%. But if you look at your makeup increasing your risk by 1 or 2%, you look at the food that you eat with the pesticides on it, increasing your risk by 2 and 3%. If you look at the household products, increasing your risk by 3%, and then you add to that X-rays, CAT scans, prescription drugs, antibiotics increase the risk of cancer by upwards of 17%. And so when you add all that up, next thing you know, you have a 2,000% risk of cancer, right? But you can't point to one thing and say, you caused my cancer. And so it's the same thing with autism. We're not going to be able to point at Tylenol and say, you caused autism, but it did play a role. But we have to look at all the other things that play a role. And again, it's not a matter of running out and trying to get rid of all the toxins, because we know that's not possible. But what it is a matter of is solidifying the 4 pillars inside of your own body so that when those toxins come in, your body knows what to do with them, right? So we have to remember that the body is self-healing. So the only way that we can get a disease is if the body was not able to heal itself, right? And again, if we trace back, we'll see that we had a lot of symptoms that we ignored all along the way until we got diagnosed with a disease, right? So we ignored our fatigue because everybody else is tired. It must be normal. It's not normal to be tired. It's common to be tired, but it is not normal. So we start to confuse things that are common with being normal, and we shouldn't really do that, right? It's a slippery slope. And so we have to begin to understand, I don't have to go chase all the toxins around so much as I need to take control of my own health. So if we really want to prevent autism, we have to actually focus on the mother before she gets pregnant, because the mother is the baby's defense in the womb, right? And so we have to really solidify the mom's detoxification systems, right? Which means we have to look at the 4 pillars. We have to make sure mom's getting enough sleep. We have to make sure mom is doing the right type of exercise. We have to make sure mom's eating the right types of foods, getting the right vitamins and minerals. We have to make sure, mom is able to detox her body properly before she gets pregnant, and then make sure that keeps going during her pregnancy. And then when the baby's born, we have to do the same thing for the baby, right? And so that would be how to prevent any disease. Whether we are looking at childhood cancer rates, which have gone up 30% in the last couple of decades, or autism, which has simply exploded in our population. It all boils down to the 4 pillars, which is really the impetus of why I created this online course. So that's a great question. I think we have time for maybe one more. Yoga and chakras. A friend of a friend claims yoga can restore chakras and that this heals. Sounds wonderful, but I'm skeptical. Any thoughts? Very true. Everything's about energy, right? And so how we move actually helps our body to use its energy more efficiently, right? So if we waste our energy, then the body will not use energy efficiently. So if you're depleted, if you're that person that's tired, and can't exercise because you're too tired, if you're that person that gets more tired as the day goes by, doing a restorative type of yoga, like a yin yoga, is very healing. Why? Because it's restorative. It restores you. But again, if you go do a bunch of cardio, or you go do high intensity interval training, or go train for a marathon, that's actually going to make you more depleted. And maybe even sick. You might injure yourself doing those types of things if you're in a depleted state. How do you know if you're in a depleted state? It's always the same thing. I wake up okay, but I get more tired as the day goes by. Or I wake up tired and I'm too tired to exercise, and if I do force myself to exercise, I feel worse. That's who is perfect for restorative yoga or Tai Chi or Qigong, right? Those things are what we call moving meditations. And so they help you to bring more oxygen into your body. And yes, they can heal your chakras, because your chakras are the energy centers of your body, right? So there's physical energy, the food that we eat and the oxygen that we breathe, but there's also non-physical energy, right? And that has to be in alignment with the physical energy for us to really be healthy. And so the non-physical energy is the stuff that we get from the planet, right? The stuff that we get from our environment, the stuff that's internally generated through meditation, prayer. Things like yoga and Tai Chi will help to restore those non-physical energy centers so that they align with the physical energy centers. And so we have good communication between the non-physical or the spiritual and the physical. And so all that has to come together. And that's why it's about the mind, the body, and the spirit ultimately. So that's an awesome question. I think that's all the time we have. Am I right, Rachel?
That pretty much does it, I'm afraid. Great show, though.
All right. Well, thank you again for all your amazing questions and comments. And I'm sorry I can't ever seem to quite get through them all, but we will continue chipping away. And so thank you for listening to Awakened Wellness. I am your host, Dr. Mylaine Riobe, and I look forward to the next time. And until then, many blessings. Thank you.
Join us next time on Awakened Wellness with Mylaine Riobe, MD, to learn how spirituality, ancient traditions, and cutting-edge science are merging to create a new paradigm of wellness. Awakened Wellness airs every Wednesday at 12 a.m. and 12 p.m. Eastern Time, with live video shows every first and third Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern of each month. Meanwhile, you can join our Facebook page at facebook.com/awakenedwellness and let us know what you'd like to discuss on future episodes. Dr. Mylaine is the medical director of the Riobe Institute of Integrative Medicine in Jupiter, Florida. For more information, visit riobeintegrativemedicine.com. This show is part of the Dream Vision 7 radio network.
This is Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, uniting mankind with universal love. Our shows are created from the heart, bringing each listener to a place of divine enlightenment. Breathe.